my god, is that Pico.Blurred?
What's up YouTube, it's your boy Pico.Blurred back again with a long hair transformation tutorial. So basically we already chopped off a bunch of the length because my guy wants to donate it, so we got that out of the way. And now right here, I'm taking my shears and I'm just creating a bulk guideline all the way around the head to set up for the rest of the haircut. Now that I got my baseline set up, I'm taking my number 2 lever open and I'm just clearing out all of the bulk underneath my guideline, making sure not to go into the guideline on the parietal ridge, but I'm flicking out, blending into it. As I said in the beginning of the video, this is going to be a shadow fade, so I'm not taking it all the way bald on the bottom. He still wants that edge up all the way around. Alright y'all, after I've cleared out all of the bulk, I'm ready to set my initial guideline, so I take my number 1 closed, and that's going to be the lowest length of this haircut. Like I said, it's a shadow fade, we're still going to see the edge up. So this is my lowest length. I take my number 1 closed and I'm just etching in that initial guideline. So instead of going back up with my number 2, I slap on my number 4 guard because I want to keep darkness around the parietal ridge. So I'm using my number 4 guard closed and it's just going to blend straight into the hair around the parietal ridge. If you use your 2 guard, it's going to leave it too light and then you won't get that transition, since we need that transition since it's not going to be completely bald all the way at the bottom. Next, I'm taking my number 2 guard again, and I'm just making sure everything looks clean, and I'm going to start blending down from there. So I'm using my number 2 open again, making sure everything's even, and then you'll see me close the lever little by little going towards my number 1 guideline at the bottom. Sometimes for me, if you're doing a shadow fade, I like to blend from top to bottom. It just make sure that you don't bring the blend too high. Like I said, you want to keep a good transition, so you want darkness towards the top and then light at the bottom. You're just not going to have that much gradients because it's not a complete bald fade, so you want to make sure that you leave it more dark towards the parietal ridge so you have some transition and it looks more like a blend. So continue blending in between the 1 and the 2. I'm using my number 1 guard and I'm mostly using my corners with the blade open, trying to soften up that line between the 2. So I'll use my number 1 open and I'll close it little by little towards the bottom. It's not going to completely blend out the line between the 1 and the 2, but I'm just setting up, softening it so I can come back in with my 1.5 guard. And the reason I'm using mostly corners is because it's not going to take all the hair off. It's basically going to act as like a thinning shear and just blend out every other hair. That's what's going to give you your gradients and your transition. If you use the full blade, you're going to end up taking that 1 too high. You're going to create a line and then you're going to have to push the fade higher than you want it. So make sure you're using those corners and slicing every other hair. Alright y'all, so final major step in the fade is using my 1.5 guard. I always start open and then I close as I go down. So start open with your 1.5 to blend into the 2 and into the bulk up top, and then closing the lever little by little until that line is blended out. And you'll see the line start to disappear as you go down. So that's how you know that it's working. Use your ears, use your eyes. You can hear the hair getting cut. If you don't hear anything, then you need to close your lever and go down. But you can see that the line is going to disappear. And I call this the major step because we're going to go back in and detail work afterwards. So this is my final major step in this fade, is blending the number 1 to the number 2. So I like to use thinning shear or texturizing shear over comb just to get the dark spots out. I think it's the best way to blend without taking length off. Basically, it's acting like your corners of your blade, so you're gonna cut into it and it's not gonna cut out hair, it's just gonna get rid of those dark spots so everything looks blended and nice. So I see a little bit of bulk around the parietal ridge that I just didn't like, so I'm taking my clipper and I'm using that over comb. And you'll see me use it different sort of ways. So if I'm using my clipper and I'm going vertical, that means I'm blending into the hair. If you see me using it across the hair horizontally, then I'm clearing bulk. So you want to clear bulk going sideways and you blend in going up. This is just the best way to get shape in my opinion. Alright y'all, now I'm prepping the hair to get ready for shears up top to start blending into this fade on the bottom. I'm using water mixed with the hair tonic just so it's easier for the hair to be cut and to section it. If you're trying to section dry hair, it's pretty hard. Make sure the hair is super saturated so you can get a clear visual of what you're doing. And as you can see, I kind of separated the hair into 3 sections. I have my profile section in the middle, and then I brought the sides over, directing the hair to my guideline that I set in at the beginning of the haircut. And that's just gonna make it so you blend from that straight up into the top. And depending on your elevation, it'll be a softer blend or a harsher blend. So I'm kind of bringing the hair upwards, so it's a little bit softer blend. It transitions nicely into the side of the hair that we cut initially. And now I'm taking that middle mohawk section and I'm just trimming everything to match the back, and I'm gonna bring it forward. Notice how I kind of keep it shorter in the back and then I bring it higher in the front. I just like to have a little bit longer length in the front, especially for this hairstyle. He's gonna be wearing it forward, messy. So you want that texture coming out, and you want a little bit of length in the front to lay down. Now that I finished cutting the middle, it's time to bring all the sections together up to the top. So you're gonna be able to see the peaks that you need to cut because you already cut everything. So you cut the sides and you cut the middle. Once you bring it up to the top, you're gonna see what needs to be cut. So they're gonna be shorter lengths, and the long lengths, you just take it off to the short lengths and everything's gonna be all even on the top. I hope that makes sense because you can't really see it here, but like I said, so you'll have the 2 short lengths that you cut to match the parietal ridge area, and you'll see a peak in the middle that needs to be cut. You just snip that off and everything's gonna be even. Now it's time to tackle the beard. He wanted a trim, so I'm taking my number 2 with the grain, and I'm just getting everything shortened to set us up to edge it up. I'm taking my trimmer at the bottom. I'm etching in, making sure that everything is super crisp on the bottom. Clear that out with my other trimmer. I have 2 trimmers, so one's sharper and one's less sharp. I don't want to use the super sharp trimmer on the bottom of the neck just because the skin is so sensitive down there. So you'll see me switch trimmers when I'm lining up and then when I'm clearing bulk. And now usually, I like to keep the beard as natural as possible, but for him, he wanted the chin strap. Don't at me in the comments. It wasn't my preference. He likes the chin strap, so don't at me. And right here, I realized that you can't really see me doing the edge up. So I got the other side as well, just so you can see a little bit better. But I am using mostly my corners, and I'm making sure to keep it as natural as possible. I'm not pushing it back because the regrowth would just look ridiculous. So make sure you keep it as natural as possible while still making it super sharp. All right, so here you can see me putting kind of like a guideline at the top and then a guideline at the bottom, and then I'll meet it in the middle. So I'll meet them together. I have 2 guidelines, so it's easy for me to see where I need to be going. And then you see how crispy it comes out. It's time to get that finish, man. One of the most important parts is getting that crispy edge up all the way around. If you have a bald fade, you're not gonna have the edge up, but if you do have an edge up, just make sure that it's super crispy. It's super important to get it really sharp because it really makes that haircut pop. And I can't stress this enough. You let the machine do the work for you. Do not push in too hard. You will scar them. And you definitely don't want your client walking around as your advertisement with scratches or marks all the way around his neck. And right here, I'm using some styling products for curly, wavy hair. So I used a hair nutrient, and then I use a curling cream. We're gonna get that blow dried with a diffuser, get him sprayed down with the alcohol so he doesn't get any razor bumps, and then get him blown off, get all the hair off of him so we can leave out of here without any hair. And this is gonna be the final product Hope you guys like the video. Let me know what you think about this haircut, man. I think the shadow fade is a good look on him, but you be the judge of that. Drop in the comments. Hope you guys like the transition. Hope you guys like the transformation. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. It's Pico.Blurred. Peace.